All right, guys, we're starting the first North American Pro League. So this is what's happening. Okay, so this is a tournament. Jaeun, big thanks to him for setting up. I think Zen was helping as well, and a lot of people are chipping in, like a lot of prize money and stuff. So basically, a bunch of top North American players getting together. There's a snake draft of which I was picked last, which seems painful, because it reminds me of my childhood. Either way, I'll be participating in this. I'll also be going through the games, observing, casting, things like that. And yeah, so it's going to be the Korean style. So it's going to be 4 1-versus-1 matches. You see that below me right now. Okay, this first one is going to be Dragon here against Jaeun down here. Jaeun is on my team. Dragon is on the opposing team. So yeah, we're going to have these two go at it. Then it's going to be Boa versus Gypsy, then Hawk versus Cava, and then me versus StRyKeR. And then we might need an ace match at that point if it's 2-2. If it's 3-1, then, well, obviously you don't. At that point, we'll then, within the same teams, go into a Winners League format where the winner will stay for all the rounds. Right? Like, if let's say it's Jaeun versus Dragon first and Jaeun wins, he'll stay and play the next player. So on and so forth. Now, after that, the scores overall is like, did you win the first match? Did you win the second match? So if it's 1-1, you get a super ace match for the strongest player on each team. Otherwise, that's it, right? Like, if it's 2-0, it's 2-0. There's prize money on the line. And yeah, it's going to be a fun match because these are all very, very, very strong players. Yeah, so anyways, it's a PvP to start. We have Jaeun here scouting up. The map is Invader. And yeah, they're going to meet right in the middle there. A little awkward probe bump. Dragon in the top left. This is a really good 2-player map. You do have this kind of smallish ramp because of the eggs. It does get a little bit smaller. So it's pretty easy to hold overall, which means you absolutely can tech on this map in PvP. And yeah, I guess we just kind of wait and see how they want to open. Generally, you can't really tell what someone wants to do until, you know, the Dragoon is out, right? Because the Dragoon is what's going to chase the probe away and allow you to put down your tech. It doesn't make sense, for instance, to instantly, like, this finishes and you put a robo down. It's like, well, now your opponent has so much intel, and it's so expensive to cancel a building like that, it doesn't make a lot of sense to make a mind game like that, right? So probe going to be scouting around a little bit. And, of course, the Zealot chasing around on both sides here, as expected. And we're just waiting for those Dragoons. So as far as who should end up winning this, one thing to mention is that Dragon, for a long time, played Zerg versus Protoss as opposed to Protoss versus Protoss. Right? So Dragon has played a lot of tournaments over the years. Obviously, he plays a lot of ladder and stuff like that. And so if you play tournaments, you can choose your race in the foreign scene. That's like a thing that's been allowed forever. And so he always chose Zerg versus Protoss. So he's a very good Zerg versus Protoss player. But more recently, he has been playing a lot of Protoss versus Protoss. I think it makes it a lot easier to practice. Like for instance, sometimes when he's trying to practice Zerg, like I'll hit him on the ladder. He doesn't play Zerg versus Terran, right? So it's kind of a waste of time. So... you know, I think that was very inefficient practice for him. He was almost a Terran player in that regard, because we have to play TBT, which doesn't help anything in your whole life other than to waste time. So yeah, that's... He does more Protoss versus Protoss nowadays, but I do believe Jaeun is a bit better at this matchup. Fairly certain. In my opinion, Dragon is one of the harder players to play against as Terran, or it might just be his style matches up pretty well against me. I definitely have a worse win rate against him than against Jaeun. But, yeah, as far as the PvPs I've seen from both, I do feel like Jaeun's a little bit stronger. And I believe the last time I casted these two, Jaeun did end up winning. So anyways, Jaeun does have a probe up here. It's made a few units. Has that robo coming up near the ramp. 2-gate with robo. And yeah, I guess we just kind of wait a moment here. It's with 2-gate, it's a little bit indecisive. Like, this could turn into 2-gate Observer into expansion. This could go 2-gate Reaver as well. Both are real openers. Here, it looks like it's a Reaver build. because it's one gate, it's more likely. He has the observatory, so it's very likely that it's going to be like observer, shuttle, reaver. Yeah, see, that's exactly what we're going to see here. That's the most efficient way to make all 3 units out of here. And it is pretty darn safe, especially the ramp like this. Now you can see they have identical unit sets down each other's ramps. Second gate gets started there for Jaeun. And observatory as well as robotic support bay here for Dragon. So his Reaver should be just slightly slower, not even very much. But you did have that faster second gate. In the meantime, slightly more supply here for Jaeun. I believe he actually cut less probes. I think we have slightly more probes for Jaeun right now than Dragon. You know, there's all sorts of little fixes you can do to your build for that. All right, so Dragon gets his Nexus down first. I got to tell you, looking at this, it looks better for Dragon, right? He's got the containment, which is like, okay, well, when the Reaver is out, you probably will just pull back. Maybe you'll take a Scarab hit or something, but it'll be a retreating Scarab hit, so it won't be that bad. But you can't really come down here as Jaeun. Whereas Dragon right now, he throws the Nexus down. Jaeun actually sends in the Scout, very nicely timed. This probe was up in the top right, so he is going to be able to jump in and scout that out. And it looks like Jaeun getting ready to go down this ramp. Going to want to kill both those eggs so that he has as wide a ramp, as good a micro area as possible. And he does have a... Oh, he actually... I'm sorry, he did not go shuttle. He did not go observer, shuttle, reaver. Which is fine. Like, you can kind of prioritize whatever units you want. But if you want that quick shuttle, that's a good way to do it. Now, comes down this ramp. The observer sees him. And look at that. Just a simple pull out by Dragon, like I mentioned. Doesn't even take a Scarab hit. He takes 2 hits on his Zealot. Not a big deal. And what do you do is Jaeun? It looks like he's pretty far behind right now. Like, Dragon has that expand up. He has it mining. And we don't have the Nexus started for Jaeun. Now, Jaeun does have a second Reaver coming out. I'm sure he'll get into a shuttle. But really, if you think about it, like... There's going to be Reaver shuttle for Dragon as well as better economy. He adds a 3rd gate already. We'll see exactly when he adds the 4th gate. I'm not like super up to date on exactly down to the moment build orders for PvP, but one thing to mention is once you have both these bases saturated, you can get to 6 gate with Reaver production. That's like a full 2 base production of Dragoon Reaver, right? So Jaeun right now, okay, he gets the shuttle out. Gonna go ahead, pick up these 2 Reavers. I don't know if he's getting speed. And I think that's one of the big things that we're going to be thinking about here, right? Like, if you do get that speed upgrade, obviously you can micro better, but also you can dive into the main base and maybe force your opponent to split their units up a little bit. All right, so coming up. Getting ready for this attack. Dude, this does not look like something Jaeun's going to break. I am not feeling very confident right now. Not very confident. All right, goes ahead and diving in here. Oh, God, he loses the shuttle right away. Still 2 Reavers for Dragon. Dragon kind of mismanages there. He could have picked some of those up. He did not. And now Jaeun is actually pushing through. This is a bit of a flub here from Dragon, but with 4 more Dragoons, 5 more Dragoons coming out of the main base, he is going to be able to hold it. Jaeun's Nexus is almost done, and he is down 2 Dragoons right now, so he just has to run out of here. Dragon looking for those extra hits. He might get a pick, just barely not going to get it, it looks like. A few more hits left on that Dragoon as it's going to run back off this ramp, but Dragon will back up. So I got to say, during that, definitely not the best micro. You know, if Dragon had been able to one time pick up his Reavers from that one Scarab and then redrop them, I feel like this game would be just about over. He could probably counter push and win at this point. But as is, they both lost 2 Reavers and their shuttle, and they both lost a lot of Dragoons. So Jaeun right now adding more gates. And it looks like they're both going to be on 3 gate plus Reaver for a little bit. Of course, as those probe counts go up, they are going to want to add a couple more gateways at least. Dragon coming across the map for a push. This is the most important part that we're looking at right here. All right, let's see what this micro is going to look like here. The Reaver jumps. Watch. He'll pick this up and... Oh, he takes the hit. Brutal. Picks it up. There you go. This is very normal at high-level play, right? Is you both just pick it up and drop it back out. Now, ooh, good control from Dragon. Gets up there, goes after the shuttle. Doesn't quite get it. Some good counterplay here from Jaeun as he starts to push forward. His shuttle actually eats all those hits and will end up dying. He's getting insane Reaver hits, though. Did you see that? 4 Dragoons falling to a single Scarab. Of course, Dragon, though, here, rallying down more, has that Reaver and is going to get that hit. Oh, damn, but he gets one more hit with it as well. Ooh, the shuttle gets above the high ground. You can't see right here. He does have the pylon to see some of it, but it looks like Dragon is going to drop into this mineral line. Oh, he has shuttle speed. Shuttle speed finishes, and he does go after the shuttle, doesn't quite get it. Drops us out, and 6 kills total. Whew. Okay, where are we at in this game? So Citadel as well as Forge, 4 gates right now, a 5th gate coming up, probably a 6th gate as well. Like I was talking about before, right? You can go 6 gates plus Reavers once you have good 2-base saturation, which it looks like Jaeun does have. And then over here, yeah, 6 gates and Reaver. We don't see the Citadel Forge. Okay, there's the Forge, but will we see a Citadel? So this might be the difference that we're going to see between these two players. Is the Citadel coming up. And here's the thing, you can get Zealot legs with that, but Zealots with legs right now might not be the answer because they're both going Reavers pretty full time. So let's see. I would say, yeah, very likely Psystorm will come up next, but I mean, maybe he wants to go into Zealots. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's how he's going to build up the gas to actually go for High Templars. But Psystorm can be extremely good against Dragoons. It can be extremely good against Reavers. It's hard. If you throw it down on Reavers, they can't move out of the way, so the shuttle has to go in, and then the shuttle's taking damage. So it can be a very good counter. Later on in the game, Storm becomes better than Reaver, but obviously early on you got all this micro potential. Reavers come out very, very fast. You're not waiting for mana, right? You're just building Scarabs. All right, 2 Reavers come out. Okay, 1 decent hit. Good targeting there from Dragon. He gets rid of both of them really quickly. Does feel like he's out microing a little bit at this point. Jaeun moves forward with a few of these Dragoons, but more Dragoons coming down for Dragon right now. And it does look like Dragon is going to go ahead and bust through here. I think Jaeun is pretty dead. All right, Zealot's walking up for Jaeun. I think, again, he probably has legs almost done here. And, in fact, he's added even more gates. So, it seems like he's just going to try to overwhelm this with gateway units. But it doesn't seem like he actually has enough, especially with 2 Reavers in here. It seems like literally anything you can make will be killed. GG is called. And Dragon going to take that first game. All right, guys. So, here we go. I don't know if you just heard that, but... my teammates here, Jaeun and Hawk, talking about it. They can't decide who is favored, and this is a great match. This is Gypsy in the top left, Boa in the top right. Okay, so my thoughts on this is I think Gypsy is the strongest Terran player outside of Korea and China. It's funny I have to say that nowadays because we're so aware of Mihu, but yeah, Gypsy is incredibly strong. And Boa, I would put down as one of the strongest foreign Protosses. I think he's not as strong as DeWalt. I think his style is better than Bonneth, but maybe Bonneth is a bit stronger than he is. So I think maybe he's 3rd to 4th best Protoss overall. That's my opinion on him. I think he's a very, very strong Protoss player. So this should be a great match, and it's on Retro, which I know Gypsy doesn't like in Terran versus Protoss. So I'm just throwing that out there. Could be a little bit of a tough one for Gypsy because of that. But he's very strong. And, you know, I got to hang out with Gypsy a whole bunch in New York for the StarCon LAN, where he ended up getting 2nd place. And One thing he was saying about maps like Retro and like Dark Origin is that he is pretty willing to play just a straightforward game on those maps, like a straight macro game. So, like, he feels like, well, you can just kind of outplay someone even if the map is a little bit unfavored for you, right? And we'll see if that's going to work for him here or if that's even what he's going to do here. You know, this is a best of one, so, like, there's all sorts of strats that you could bust out to do that. By the way, I see Husky just raided. Thank you so much, Husky buddy. I hope that you had an excellent stream. And welcome, Husky watchers. Right now, tonight, we are playing and casting some Brood War the way it should be. All right, so we continue onwards with the North American Pro League. My team losing 0-1 right now. And yeah, Gypsy is going to scout Boa first. So that's very powerful in and of itself because you can check if a Zealot is coming. That's like the best thing in the world. And then you see like, oh, are you upgrading range? You know, are you going quick Nexus? It feels so good. So what he's going to do here is make 2 Marines and put them in a bunker because he knows whether or not a Zealot's coming, right? A Zealot would have already come out. Like the latest that you could possibly get that is oh, thank you, Cyber Psycho. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for gifting 10 subs. You are the man. That's awesome. Really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, when you see if the Zealot's coming, what you do is you do a 2 Marine bunkered expansion. If you don't know, you make 3 Marines and no bunker, and you try to go for the expansion. Okay, so it's just like you would prefer to buy the bunker, but you have to have the intel, because if you try to make this too early and a Zealot comes, it just screws up everything. So that's a nice opener there for Gypsy. You should be pretty happy with that. And in fact, he cancels the Vulture, which this is a nice optimization that we're seeing from Gypsy. So he canceled the Volt, where if like a Zealot comes or a Dragoon comes up and tries to run by or something, 100% you need that Vulture to kill it, right? Like you'll need the Marines. You'll probably land this, make another Marine, bring 2-3 SCVs, the Vulture, and you'll kill it. But to cancel and then re-optimize your build so you can do things like make your depot more quickly, get the add-on and upgrade more quickly, things like that are very, very strong. Looking down here, Boa is blocking his ramp here. So Retro is a map that it's kind of funny. It's like a better version of Fighting Spirit. It's a version of Fighting Spirit that doesn't make you nauseous to play because of its garbageness, right? So we have 1 Dragoon kind of standing in the front. This is blocking the main entrance to scout him, and this is blocking the side entrance, which also leads to a 3rd base. So with those 2 there, you kind of can't get by. Like, you could run a Vulture by, but if there's a 2nd Dragoon waiting, the Vulture's dead, right? So you're always going to turn around here, unless you have Vulture speed, which is a completely different build. Double Gateway plus Robo. So it looks like it'll probably be 2 Gate Observer into 3rd base into Reaver. That's like so common right now. It's probably the most popular Protoss opening. We have the Observatory coming up, so looking pretty standard for him over on Gypsy's side. He's got the mine upgrade, but he's only made a single Vulture. He went Vulture, Tank, Vulture. That's interesting. Armory on the way. Okay, okay. Good timing on Armory. He'll have to start his eBay relatively soon because he just doesn't have much intel here. 2nd gas is coming up. And let's see if he goes Engineering Bay. There it is. Okay, so everything's very standard. Right now, Gypsy is going for Upgrade Terran. And Upgrade Terran is, you know, I mean, this is kind of the standard way to play. This is how most top Terrans play because it's kind of a catch-all. It can deal with pretty much everything. And in fact, if you look at the actual openers where it's like Dragoon expansion, it can deal with everything. You just have to do some scouting and adjust the build slightly, but like Upgrade Terran can deal with everything Protoss is going to throw at you. It's harder to play than some things. It's definitely never going to give you a fast win, but it's giving you, you know, lots of options and some flexibility. So right now the Observer is out. Boa going to move out and start killing some of these. Notice he is going for the Robotics Support Bay, and he puts it the natural. If your opponent goes scans, the natural is one place they don't like to scan as Terran because there's not much room here. So it's like, well, am I going to waste a scan there? You'd rather scan here and like here because a lot of times there's stuff on the edge of the base that they're trying to hide. But anyways, that's an evolving meta, right? Sometimes we might see people scan here because it's so common to put the Reaver tech. But as I mentioned, it's 2-gate Observer Nexus into Reaver Tech. So that's very, very strong. That's going to give Boa, like, infinite options on how to defend things, how to harass, and whatnot. Gypsy right now is getting his second factory. His second factory is a little bit late, and that's a very fast academy. In fact, the academy is before the second factory. This is very Gypsy-esque. I've actually talked to him about this specific move, where he likes to get the academy before the second factory. And in his eyes, the academy, like, to be able to scan what your opponent is doing is more important than getting the factory. But if you get the factory late like this, you do have lower supply compared to Protoss. So if they go unit heavy, it can be a little bit tough to get out and get your third base, because you are missing out on a few extra units there. But I mean, it's a stylistic call. So the starport is coming, third factory as well. Very standard, straightforward macro game coming out. Over on Boa's side, yep, he's up on 4 gates. So 4 gate plus Robo is like very, very good. You basically aren't weak to anything that will come at you. But of course, we can see already that nothing is going to come at him. This is a big time macro build from Gypsy. Now the speed shuttle comes over. Gypsy's not going to be surprised about this. He did make that single Goliath. Very popular to make 1 Goliath. You know, many years ago, we saw a lot of pros going for 4 Goliaths plus range. That's considered too slow right now. Nowadays, you generally go for the missile turrets and get like a single Goliath, and that's just like if this flies over your turret ring, the Goliath will help to, you know, trap it and kill it off. So science facility finishes. Got to get that +2 going immediately, considering that is the point of his build order. Some vultures being spread on the sides. Boa's getting ready to take a 4th base, and Gypsy wants to catch that with the vultures. But Dragoons are guarding it pretty well. He might have had a slight opportunity there to catch it, but didn't quite get it. So he pulls the vultures away for now, and it looks like Boa should be able to start his additional Nexus relatively soon. You can see that Boa's starting to eclipse him in supply a bit. We're about 30 supply up for Boa, and that's going to be almost only in Army. As far as worker counts go, they're probably very similar on those worker numbers. Gypsy's... Yeah, maybe Gypsy's down a couple workers, but they're probably very, very close on that. Right now, double armory is going, 2-1 on the way, 5 factory. This is all really super standard stuff from Gypsy, and he's going to have to start his 3rd command. And there you go. There's the 3rd command center. Has to cancel it because of the Reavers. Tough position here for Gypsy. Right, he's got a lot of units in the main base, and then we have these 2 Reavers that are just kind of harassing. To have to cancel that 3rd, you know, there's all sorts of like benchmarks that you need to hit in Terran versus Protoss, okay? So he's hit the 5 factory benchmark, okay? That's an important one. Before this time, basically, you need to make sure you have 5 factories started, okay? Another one, oh, that's an interesting move from Boa. He just says, screw it, I don't care about Marines. They don't do any damage. Kills off that bunker. And in fact, even gonna get the Goliath. Dude, he's getting some real value here. A siege tank. The bunker and Marines don't really matter, but the Goliath, the siege tank, and the cancel command center, those put together are great. Oh, it does get a hit off there. Anyways, what I was talking about before is benchmarks in this matchup, right? Because, like, Protoss is big and scary, okay? I can tell you that. But if you hit all your benchmarks, you should be okay. And one of the big benchmarks is having your 3rd base mining by 12 minutes, okay? And I don't think he's going to hit that, unfortunately. This is a tough position he's in. He's adding his factories beautifully. As soon as you get this command center going, you should be adding more factories. His upgrades are going really well. He's going to have 2-1 very shortly. But he's got about 1 minute to get this command center landed with SCVs to really feel like he's still in a good position. That's a sick kill. Oh my god, that's a sick kill. Gets rid of the shuttle with the Reavers. Here Boa comes, and this is why Boa is so scary. Look at his supply here. Absolutely insane. 150 against 110, despite losing 10 supply a moment ago with that shuttle. The Zealot's getting on top of absolutely everything here. Look at that. Surrounding. Dude, looking very bad for Gypsy. He's going to lose his command center. In fact, we're close to game right now. Gypsy can be an emotional player, so there's a possibility that he just taps out. This command center definitely going to be going down, unfortunately. Forces that liftoff. You know, Gypsy is just about to have 2-1 finish, so I think he's going to try to stay in here. I think he'll turn this. Yeah, he lost that command center. So this is going to turn into a 2-base all-in. Gypsy from here should make like probably 4 more tanks and then pure Vulture and just go try to kill Boa. That's going to be his best chance because, you know, Boa did spend a lot on these units, right? Like he made a ton of gateways. He doesn't have, well, he does have a lot of tech, but it's not as much tech as you might see at this point in the game because he did make a lot of gateway units. And Gypsy is going to kill that 4th. I actually hadn't noticed this, but this is a fantastic move with the dropship. So he kills off that 4th Nexus. Very, very strong. And he has to do something here. It looks like, oh my God. Okay, I'm surprised about this. And I got to say, on the record, I disagree. Even when you kill this, well, maybe because he killed this base. Right? Like he still has the dropship flying around. He has a bunch of vultures coming down. So maybe he's like, you know what? I can keep him on 3 base. And so my late 3rd is going to be okay. Yeah. Okay. I can live with this actually, the more I think about it. If he hadn't killed this and you're trying to re-expand your 3rd, it will literally never work. But Boa is actually going to try to push in here once again. Holy crap. I'm surprised that he's trying to push again. This doesn't look like a great move. He does storm on the high ground, a pretty decent storm. I believe that's his only storm. And, like, this army is so weak compared to what Gypsy has up there. A very surprising move here from Boa. And look at this. Gypsy killing off the 3rd. Dude, Gypsy's actually going to take this now. Boa with this attack, plus this drop going down. Like, Boa's throwing a ton of units. He's trying to just rally up more to be able to break through all the way. Look at this. He's got units in the way of those vultures going up the ramp. Oh, another drop tries to come in, but gets pushed back as well. And I think Gypsy's just going to take it. I got to say, I'm surprised and impressed. You know, I think that double drop ship down here did a lot against Boa. Maybe screwed up his mentality. And then to bring vultures out and hit the 3rd base while Boa's playing so aggressively. Truly well done. And I think you can see just how strong Gypsy is as far as a Terran outside of Korea goes, right? Like, incredibly good play. Because this looked like a very, very bad position, but he did these few little small extra things that have really, really paid off. Now he is microing with these vultures, and Boa's got almost nothing left. Look at this. 87 supply against 109. Man, what a game here. All right, Gypsy rolling out. Boa has retaken this Nexus. It's got, like, no probes, minimal defenses. I mean, yeah, a couple Psy Storms, a couple cannons. So it's something at least. And then, of course, he's got this little bit of units left over here. Oh, Gypsy trying to go in for a bit more harass. I don't know that that's really needed, but maybe just keeping Boa back while he moves out, that can make some sense. Setting up, where is that 3rd command center? Didn't he... Am I crazy? Did he... Oh, did the next attack come in and force a cancel? Maybe that's what it was. Sorry. Missed that. But Vulture's catching these probes as they're trying to get transferred. And, ooh, very nice Psy Storm. Very nice Psy Storms there. Helping him to knock out these siege tanks. Is Boa going to be able to fight back from here? You know, I feel like if he could actually get good probes down here, maybe there would be a chance. Because it looks like it's going to remain 2-base versus 2-base. He's actually going to have to lift this command center, which actually might open up DTs being a really good option. Just something to note. Wow, pops that Reaver immediately. Okay, that's going to be it. That's going to be it. We should see a GG here in a moment. What is this? He's got like 12 gates, double robo, but not enough units to break through this push of Gypsy. Really, again, masterfully done. I would have, you know, in the mid-game, I would have bet quite a bit of money that Gypsy was going to end up losing. And I would have been wrong, because he really did fight back, like killing off this Nexus, killing off that Nexus, holding that kind of like apish second attack from Boa. The first attack was really good. I think the second and third attacks were Really not that strong. Yeah, so Boa's trying to hold on here, right? Like, he knows that Gypsy's economy is garbage. But the thing is, his standing army's good. You know, I guess it is true. If Boa broke this, the game opens up a bit, right? Like, it's still hard, but the game does open up. Because he'll be on 2 base against 1 base, at least for a little bit. Gypsy is going to get another base up here very, very soon. And it looks like he's going to do a counter drop. I wonder if it's time to pull everything up the ramp. Okay, see the DT? I think he's starting to... Oh, he actually didn't lift this. Yeah, he's making the new command center. But Gypsy continuing to push forward here, eating some hits from the cannons and the dragoons to get this push accelerated. The drop coming in. Oh, he doesn't get the Psy Storm off. Okay, couple good Psy Storms there. Ends up losing a lot, like a High Templar and a Reaver. Sorry, I don't know why I was like focusing on the fact that Gypsy was attacking his own Vulture there. Kind of shredded my brain. Sends 4 DTs out. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's got 3 more DTs. Dude, he made 7 DTs. He's like, you know what I need? If I'm going to win this game, I need 7 Dark Templars. Insanity. And he clears it. This is the craziest back and forth game ever. Look at this. Runs up to that 3rd base location. He's got the DTs. This is a problem if you don't have a scan. No scan yet. And there we go. He does throw 1 scan down, but he throws a scan down at the wrong time. He has to lift this, which means he's got just these little crappy patches left. Oh my god. Boa with the DT comeback, perhaps? Oh man, 42 supply against 73. It is absolutely crazy right now. So few units left for Gypsy here. He is going to be able to go ahead and pick off the rest of these units attacking him very, very quickly. He needs to repair those siege tanks. He needs to retake this base. I can't believe that Boa has pulled this game together. He has... Gypsy's supply was like 110 against like 68 or something. Look at this. He's halved Gypsy's supply with these few moments. You know, one little High Templar drop followed up by 7 DTs. Invisible men. Okay, this little storm goes off. He is killing off some of these siege tanks. The unit count is getting very light, very low. This is definitely a much stronger army than what Gypsy has at the moment. We actually might see Gypsy tap out relatively soon. He's actually made a lot of Goliaths. It looks like he just wants to eliminate the shuttles. Now, in smaller numbers, like the Goliaths can do all right against all these Protoss units. You know, if they're not getting Psystorm, they're not getting hit by Reavers. Well, GG, that's going to be it. Boa is going to end up taking that one. Crazy game. All right, guys. Here we go. Right now, we are in game number 3. It's 1-1. Someone's going to take the advantage. And it is, right now, Hawk. He's from my team in the top right. He's the team captain going up against Cava. Cava is... You probably haven't seen him as much. I play him occasionally on my stream. He's a strong NA Zerg. You know, there's a large group of strong, kind of unknown Korean-American players. Right? Like, I would say a little over half the top players in North America are Korean descent, right? Jaeun, StRyKeR, Cava, Boa, Crossy. You know, there's some other ones too. But yeah, he's a good Zerg. He's a strong Zerg. And ZVZ, of course, is a matchup where you have a lot of volatility, right? So even though I would say for sure Hawk is a better player than Cava, it's ZVZ. So you don't know if you're going to be able to make this one make a difference, right? Like, Cava may be able to just snipe Hawk here. I think Hawk would be a pretty solid choice against anyone that's not a Zerg. That's always been kind of a problem overall, I think, with Zerg. It has to be frustrating to be a Zerg player and be like, this matchup is a little bit rock, paper, scissory. It's really hard to keep a high win rate. And, yeah, very few people can maintain that. So, anyways, taking a look at it. Hawk with the 1 base. We have the fast expansion here for Cava. Hatchery goes down at the natural here after that pool. So yeah, it's not like a rush of any real sort here from Hawk, but instead getting that spawn or that hatchery up just a little bit later. So when you look at these build orders and how they line up, Cava's is a bit better against Hawks since his hatchery is a little bit quicker, but his pool isn't substantially slower. He should be able to hold on against this. And in fact, these are all pulsing at different times. So he made 3 different things here. Well, not 3 different things, but he made them at different times, right? Okay, so yeah. Oh, okay, so he does actually make 6 lings. I was kind of thinking it was going to be 4 in a drone, but he does make 6 lings. We'll see if he sends those down, all of them or not. Yeah, looks like they are going to go towards the south. And Hawk, I think, getting ready right now, maybe for the lair. Yeah, okay, so honestly, looking at this, I really do like Cava's position a bit better. His layer's a bit quicker. He has more larvae because his hatchery went down quicker. Can't imagine him taking damage here. And honestly, like, this is the type of game where if Cava goes, like, pure ling, Hawk has to really read that and get a sunken. Hawk right now, he did make a few more lings, right? Yeah, a really fair amount of lings down there. He has about 10 on the map. Comes down and pokes for a moment. Cava backing up. All right, a lot of speedlings coming out now. Hawk trying to be the aggressor. That's hard to do, though. You know, if your opponent's just making lings throughout this, it's like, well, you just don't have more than him. You can micro like this all you want, but, like, are you ever going to kill the hatchery doing that? Not likely. Not too likely. The Overlord pops out. Hawk definitely needs his. Yeah, his just popped out as well. And you can see, notice what I said before, if Cava makes lings nonstop, Hawk is going to have to read that and get a sunken colony. That's incredibly important because you have to keep track of who can actually have more lings, and the answer is Cava. So Hawk is prepared. If a real attack comes, he can make this sunken, then back up, and you just kind of make an arc around it. You want some lings to attack the sunken, because Sunkens have base 2 armor, and it will live for a very, very, very long time. And you only utilized 1 larva for that, right? So it's a great value holding against Zerglings in a situation like this. But Cava is actually, he's slipped in a few more drones. He has slipped in a few more drones. Spire is coming up, and Spire, comparing the health, they're very, very close. So Cava's going to get his just before, but it doesn't seem like that's going to make a difference. I mean, you can see they're sending their overlords home already, right? This one's leaving that side of the map. Hawk is kind of leaving his here, which I think is okay as well. I don't think he feels like he can really get that out, and he wanted the intel of this area. Both sides getting a gas. You know, the one thing I can say here is because of the sunken, there is a bit better counter-attack potential from Hawk. It's harder for Cava to do counterattacks because of the sunken, right? You have to be more cognizant of any time you come in. Nope, that will not work. Oh my god, Hawk would have destroyed that. But yeah, it's just like when you see spores in this matchup. You can look at it and say, well, I mean, the guy with spores, he has some defense at home, whereas the guy without spores will never make a spore because he's ahead in that way. And he doesn't have to. Kind of a funny thing about ZVZ. Now, Hawk coming in, he did make a lot of Zerglings there behind his sunken. So he's down in drones right now, but a slightly higher Zergling count. He actually kind of fumbles the top piece of the attack while trying to go after drones. And it looks like he did kill 2 drones. So I would say that that did end up being worth it overall. Muta's coming out on both sides. And now we're going to see who is actually going to get more Mutalisks. Oh my god, he just ran in and killed 2 more drones. Okay, Hawk has a big advantage now. Like, I believe he's killed 4 drones in the last moments. So that is a big, big, big deal. All right, so let's count Mutalisks. We got 8 going up against 7 right now. Obviously, Scourge popping out. As far as drones, we have 7 on the main patches, 3 on this gas. Okay, so you have 8 mining minerals, and Hawk has 9 mining minerals. That's okay. So he has full saturation there. So Hawk is going to be up 1 drone right now. He has that static D still. He has Lings behind it still. He has the Scourge. He's sitting very defensively at the moment. This is actually weird for me, but my heart is actually kind of beating kind of fast watching this game. It's like, it really feels like it can go either way. Look at the supplies, how close they've been this entire time. There's definitely been some back and forth. Cava, I think, opening up slightly ahead. Then Hawk maybe with outplaying him slightly with the Zergling attack and getting those drones. But then Cava kind of recognizing that that's the end of the aggression, is able to re-drone. And we're just in this very, very close position right now. Looks like both are on the 9 drones now. Yeah, both on 9 drones. So it's like completely the same economies. Similar Ling counts, similar everything. A lot of this can come down to control. Look at this. Hawk flying in, sending his Scourge. I don't know, man. It looks like Hawk might have a slight advantage, but then we just saw a lot of Scourge hit there. 2 more Scourge come in, and it does look like Hawk is going to be able to take this one down. And that is going to be that. That's going to be GG. Cava has nothing left here. It looks like he's trying to counter. Not going to work. And Hawk gives my team the advantage. GG.
Orders, Captain?
Not enough minerals.
Right away, sir.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough
SCV
minerals.
good to go, sir.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCV good to go, sir. Roger that.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCV good to go, sir.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCV good to go, sir. Roger that. Orders, Captain? Affirmative.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCV good to go, sir. SCV good to go,
Additional
sir.
supply depots required.
Yes, sir. Roger that. Reporting for duty.
Not enough minerals.
SCV good to go, sir. Affirmative. I read you. SCV good to go, sir. I read you. SCV good to go, sir. Reporting for duty. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Affirmative. SCV good to go, sir. Orders received. Right away, sir. Orders received.
Your
Yes,
forces
sir.
are under
Orders
attack.
received. I read you. Orders received. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Orders received. Roger that. Orders received. Right away, sir. Reporting for duty. Give me some of this shit. SCV good to go, sir.
Not enough minerals.
Commander, let's report for duty.
Not enough
I
minerals.
read you. Reporting
Not
for
enough
duty.
minerals.
Give me some of this shoot. Rock and roll. Right away, sir. Reporting for duty. Orders received.
Your
Orders,
forces
Captain.
are under attack.
Yes, sir. Roger that. Orders, Captain. Orders received. Piece of me, boy. Checked it. I read Yes, sir. Roger that. Yes, sir.
Not enough
Orders,
minerals.
Captain.
Not enough minerals.
I read you. I read you.
Your forces are under
Yes, sir.
attack.
SCV good to go, sir. Orders received.
Checked up and good to go. Rock and
Yes,
roll.
sir. Orders, Captain. Roger that. Orders, Captain.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Affirmative. Right away, sir.
Not
Give me
enough
something to
minerals.
shoot. Go, go, go.
Job finished.
Let's move.
I
Outstanding.
read you. Yes, sir. Roger that. Reporting for duty. Roger that. Affirmative. Right away, sir.
You want a piece of me,
Reporting for
boy?
duty. I read you. Finished. SCV good to go,
Additional
sir.
supply
Job
depots
finished.
required.
Reporting for duty. Right away, sir. I read you. Orders received. Right away, sir. Orders received. I read you. Orders received.
Not enough minerals.
You want a
Orders,
piece of me,
Captain.
boy?
Orders,
Not
Captain.
enough minerals.
I read you. I read you.
Not enough
Roger
minerals.
that. Affirmative. Orders, Captain. SCV good to go, sir. Job's finished. Orders, Captain.
Your forces are under attack.
You want a piece of me, boy? You want a piece of
Yes,
me,
sir.
boy?
Job's finished.
Rock and roll.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Right away, sir.
Not enough minerals.
Yes, sir.
Standing by. Rock and roll.
Captain ready. On my way.
Yes, sir.
Not enough minerals.
Give me something to shoot.
Did someone
Rock
page
and
me?
roll.
Did someone page
Standing
me?
by.
Need
Standing
medical
by.
attention?
Add-on
Did
complete.
someone page
Go,
me?
go, go.
Need medical
Good to
attention?
go. Standing
Where
by.
does it hurt? Need medical attention?
Fire it up. You've got it, Commander.
Did someone page me?
Report for duty.
Add-on complete.
The heat.
SCV good to go,
Research
sir.
complete.
Piece of me, boy. Slam it. You want a piece of me,
Need
boy?
medical attention?
Standing by. Outstanding. Let's
Did
move.
someone page me?
Go, go, go. Give me something to shoot.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Give me something to shoot.
Orders,
Your
Captain.
forces are under
Orders,
attack.
Captain.
Standing by.
Need medical attention? Where does it hurt?
Yes.
SCV good to go,
You
sir.
gotta pay attention. Naturally. Slam it.
SCV good to go,
Let's
sir.
go. A piece of me, boy. Naturally. Slam it. Naturally. Slam it. You got it.
Your forces are under attack. Not enough minerals.
Affirmative.
Did someone page me?
Orders, Captain.
Not enough
Need
minerals.
medical attention?
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Yes, sir.
You want a piece of me,
State the
boy?
nature of your medical emergency. Captain
Not
ready.
enough minerals.
Rock
Where
and
does it hurt?
jacked up.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Jacked up and good to go. Outstanding.
SCV good to go,
Go,
sir.
go. Give me
Where does
something
it
to shoot.
hurt?
Reporting for duty. Right away, sir.
You want a
Orders,
piece of me,
Captain.
boy?
I read you. Affirmative. Roger that. Affirmative. Roger that. Orders, Captain. Right away, sir.
Commander.
Where does it hurt?
Outstanding. Jacked
Need
up.
medical attention?
Standing by.
Where does it
Reporting for
hurt?
duty.
You want a
Yes,
piece
sir.
of me, boy?
Additional supply depots required.
Let's move.
State the nature of your medical emergency. Need medical attention? State the nature of your medical emergency.
Additional supply depots required.
Job finished. Reporting for duty. Still there.
Upgrade
Need
complete.
medical
Not enough
attention?
minerals.
Where does it hurt?
Orders, Captain.
Jacked up and good
Need
to go.
medical
Give me
attention?
something to shoot.
State the nature of your medical
Not
emergency.
enough minerals.
Reporting for duty.
Not enough minerals.
Reporting for duty.
You want a piece of me, boy? Outstanding.
Need medical attention?
Additional supply depots required.
Orders, Captain.
Commander.
SCV good to go, sir. Affirmative.
Additional supply depots required.
Did someone page me?
Orders received.
Where does it hurt?
Job finished. Yes, sir. Orders, Captain. Orders, Captain.
Give me
Not
something to
enough
shoot.
Need
minerals.
medical
Yes,
attention?
sir. Right away, sir. Job finished. Reporting for duty. I read you.
Give me something to shoot. Outstanding.
State the nature of your
Something to
medical
shoot.
emergency.
SCV good to go, sir. I read
Not
you.
enough minerals.
Right away, sir.
Give me something to
Job
shoot.
finished.
Upgrade complete.
Need medical attention? State the nature of your medical emergency.
Not enough minerals.
I read you. Roger that. Right away, sir. Orders received.
Commander, go, go, go. Standing.
Reporting for duty.
Your forces are under attack. Minerals.
Yes, sir. Roger that.
Commander,
I'm on the job.
standing by.
Did someone page me?
Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Did someone page me?
Standing by.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Orders, Captain.
Jacked up and good to go. Give me something to
Did
shoot.
someone page me?
Base is under attack.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Orders, Captain. Right away, sir.
Give me something to shoot.
SCV, good to
Did
go,
someone
sir.
page me?
Ready to roll out.
Not enough minerals.
Job finished.
Not enough
Give me
minerals.
something to shoot.
SCV, good to go, sir.
Did
Upgrades
someone
complete.
page me?
Go, go, go. Let's move.
Where does it hurt?
Give me something to shoot. Let's move. Outstanding.
Complete.
Orders, Captain.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
I read you. I can't build that. Orders, Captain. Orders received. Orders, Captain.
Commander.
Job
Where
finished.
does it hurt?
Ready to rock
Your forces are under attack.
Orders, sir. Go, go, go.
Medical emergency. Where does it hurt?
Good to go, sir.
Standing by. Jacked up
State
and
the
good to go.
nature of your medical emergency.
Yes, sir. Delighted to,
Job
sir.
finished. I read you.
Standing by.
Medical attention.
Yes, sir.
Jacked up and good to go.
Where does it hurt?
You want a piece of me, boys? Jacked up and good to go. Fired up. Jacked up and good to go.
SCV, good to go, sir.
Give me something to shoot. Fired up.
Good to go, sir.
Orders, sir. Standing by.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Research complete. Your forces are under attack.
Received.
You want a piece of me, boys? Jacked up
Where does it hurt? Stat. Right away.
piece of me, boys.
Did someone page me? Did someone page me?
Go, go, go. Give me something to shoot. Commander.
Your forces are under attack.
Standing by. Fired up.
SCV, good to go, sir. I read you. Reporting for duty. Build there.
You want a piece of me, boy?
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Research
SCV, good to
complete.
go, sir.
Receiving headquarters. You want a piece of me, boy? You got my attention.
Press
Piece of me, boy.
Need medical attention?
Yes, sir.
We have you on visual.
Need medical attention?
Turn up the heat.
Did someone page me?
Get out.
Piece of me, boy. Turn up the heat.
Did someone page me?
Piece of me, boy.
Your forces are under attack.
Did someone page me?
Say GG.
Base is under attack. Not enough energy. Not enough minerals.
Need medical attention?
Get out. Get out.
Whew. Okay, sorry. Let's get that all into the right place. All right. This is the ace match. So I lost against StRyKeR. It was pretty good. We were close to breaking him, but didn't quite get it. That's a tough map. That's okay. He's a strong player. The ace match is going to be Boa up here top left against StRyKeR bottom right. It's a randomized ace match for these teams. A very important one. We are on Dark Origin or Neo Dark Origin, PVZ, and yeah, let's see how they want to go down on this one. It's I guess a few things about Dark Origin. I mean, you do have this back path. You generally don't see it used very often. You have... Well, it's like whoever can control the center really controls the expansions well, right? Because the fourth base for both sides of the minerals point out. So it's really hard to hold these bases, right? To whoever has the center of the map. So it might get to there. I hope it gets there. I hope it's not just something like a Hydra bust, but we'll see. And, well, yeah, it's just a probe scout coming out. It looks like he wants to do Nexus first. It looks like that was a misclick on the probe scout. See how it went down this way? He might have clicked like here and not here or something like that. Made the probe go in the wrong way. He's going to see that it is pool first, so probably you send a probe down now to make a forge, I would imagine. He does... I don't have the exact timings. I mean, if you're a Protoss player, you know exactly to the second what you need to go Nexus first. Excuse me, versus a forge first. So it looks like he might go Nexus, but it could be just Forge Nexus as well, like the latest Forge you can get. Yeah, that sounds more reasonable here to me. So the Forge goes down. And yeah, he'll be able to afford a Nexus here in a moment and then get the cannon up in time. So, I mean, these are just pretty standard opening build orders. Nothing too crazy to say about these. And we'll see how many lings he actually makes. Yeah, he's going to make 2 lings only, just to push this probe back. That's like a pretty common thing when you go for something like an overpool, and they're playing like this, where there's no Zealot coming or anything like that. You can just make a couple lings and just focus on droning up to kind of make up for the fact that you went pool first instead of hatch first. Boa over here, of course, he had to make the cannon. You got to make one just in case there's lings being made. And then a gateway goes up. So, I mean, we're early game in PvZ. There's not like a super lot to talk about yet. If the probe starts getting low on health or he gets him down the ramp and zones him from coming back up, then suddenly we have like a lot of options opening up. But when the probe is running around in the main base like this, there's not a whole lot to say about what's going on there. So the layer gets started, and of course the probe is going to be able to see that as well. So yeah, Bo's done a good job of keeping this probe alive, right? Like you really want to be able to see. If they don't start the layer, then things start to get fishy. Like you could have the layer start out here. It's not very common though, because you're more likely to lose a base that's out on the fringe, and then losing at that part at that time is going to be bad, right? If you can't make any more layer tech. Not my best observing here. I kind of have a bit of adrenaline through my system still from that match. It's crazy. You play a game competitively for more than 20 years and you can still get adrenaline when you're playing. I guess that's just the way of things that we care about. So, yeah, StRyKeR, this all looks super normal. Super, super, super normal. Stargate on the way. Single Zealot is out. A second one should be popping out any second here. And it'll be interesting to see, does Boa want to send Zealots out? Because a lot of times you will, even with a build like this, end up sending out when you have 3. I don't know if he will, because he's kept his probe alive so well. It's almost like you know what's going to happen from here, right? Of course, you can't tell if it's going to be muted or not. Zerg has become like perfectly good at masking that, so it's I don't think that there's a real read for it, honestly, because they go one gas muta very oftentimes. So yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a way you can forcefully know. You just kind of take your best guess at it. Right, I'm sure there's some sort of feel. It also might have to do with unit movement as well. That's like a funny thing that exists in Brood War, and people who like have played a lot competitively will know that like occasionally, for instance, a probe might get in your base and it'll move in a certain way and you know something's up just by the way they're clicking it around. It's like a subconscious thing almost. But like the way they'll be trying too hard to make you look at the probe, that type of thing. Anyways, cannon is being made here and a second Stargate. So Boa has decided that this will be Mutalisks. And he's going to Stargate Corsair. So if it does end up being Mutalisks, Boa should have a pretty good advantage. All right, flying down across the map. Hatchery, evolution chamber. We don't actually see anything yet. Hydralisk Den has been started. Of course, he probably has 4 Scourge being made, 2 here, 2 here is my guess. He could have made some over here actually for a flank. That is an important thing where you spawn your Scourge, right? Boa going hard on this Overlord. Gonna have to pull it back. Oh, dude. That's incredibly painful. Losing the first Corsair is very, very bad. And I wonder about this, okay? If you lose the first Corsair, the odds of going mutas goes up dramatically. But what if you went 2 Stargate Corsair and you lost the first one on purpose? Because you are trying to bait them into going mutas. I'm just saying. Protoss have tried stupider things many, many times. So let's see if any mutas are going to pop. No, it's Hydra. Okay, so StRyKeR is going to have a pretty big advantage here, I would say. It's hard to imagine these Corsairs doing too much. Like, Corsairs always do something. But the question is, will he have Storm in time to stop any pushes? Because that's what normally happens on maps that look like this, with kind of like a flat choke in your natural. If you go 2 Stargate Corsair, your Psystorm is pushed back quite a bit, and a big Hydralisk attack, a big Hydralisk bust, can oftentimes come in and end you. Some more gates being added on. Bo with 5 Corsairs. He may stop there. So far, he's spent 600 gas just on Corsairs, and then the extra 100 gas on the Stargate. Okay, so there's been 700 gas that he's spent on anti-air against someone who's made 4 Scourge. So yeah, I mean, he hasn't really killed Overlords yet either. So the value of these, right as of this moment, are not extremely high. A lot of Hydras under the main clump, so he's not going to be able to dive on that. You don't want to suicide these in. They do have +1 air attack, so that's actually 800 gas, by the way. 800 gas spent on anti-air. That is a lot, man. Damn. All right, additional gates for Boa. He's adding a bunch of cannons, and that's definitely what he needs to do, right? We were talking about this before, that pre-storm bust timing that may come out of StRyKeR. Or in fact, like, will basically always come against 2 Stargate Corsair. You look at this, you know that it's 2 Stargate. So he's going to want to push out. He has a lot of Hydras, and you just must hold this. Notice the Zealots are at the bridges. So this is an attempt to just make it harder for them to move up. Single DT walking out. Not sure what it'll be able to do against the Speed Overlords. Maybe a counter harassment once the Hydras go across the map. But as of right now, we don't see the Hydras going across the map. I thought that he would have moved out as Overlord speed finished. Another hatchery coming up from StRyKeR. You know, this is the thing about StRyKeR. He's got excellent mechanics. And, like, he's just macroing right now. He's got good spreads everywhere. Look at this. Re-droning. He's not even trying to attack. And this is one of the most popular things that you can do against these 2 Stargate Corsair builds, is go up and try to bust. All right, so flying over those Hydras, obviously a little bit painful. Loses 1 Corsair, hull damage on 2. Additional macro hatch coming up, so we're going up to 6 hatch Hydra right now. Already has +1, no doubt +2 on the way. These speedlots ready to tango. Gonna have to kill some of these buildings in here for sure. Probably this cannon, but he might go for these two. It's a little bit cleaner. Doesn't look like the best wall, honestly. I don't think anyone plays Dark Origin that much. I guess maybe now that it's in the pool, people are starting to play it a lot. But yeah, it's before this latter phase, it was not like super popular, I think, for a lot of the players in NA to play. Now, the Hydra's being chased back by Boa's Zealots here. You can see StRyKeR's macro is pretty out of control. He's within 10 supply right now. Now, to be fair, it's like mostly Hydra, so Storms can have a Wrecking Ball effect upon that. But he is adding in the Lurkers now, so we might see StRyKeR move up into a containment position against this heavy Zealot composition. But it's not that heavy Zealot, right? We see Dragoons starting to pop out. He does decide, by the way, to take out these two, which is, like I said, that's the cleanest route out of there. It's going to be a lot easier for his Dragoons to exit. But yeah, I do like these heavy Dragoon count plays. He is only on 6 gates right now, and does have that Robo, of course. Very important. And it looks like StRyKeR wants to go up and contain. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work out well. He can hit that with a Storm very nicely. Yeah, one storm goes down. If he hits a storm there, misses. That storm isn't exactly where he wanted it, but he does finish off 2 lurkers with a couple storms. So you can't be completely disappointed with that. All right, the DT pushing back these Hydras. And a great timing here from Boa to run out. Look at this, storming those eggs, and it actually forces the unmorph from StRyKeR. And suddenly Boa takes control of the center. Drones accidentally being rallied up, sending his Hydras back. He has taken a new base here. Of course, if Boa figures that out, he'll be able to kill this in a matter of seconds. Now, let's see if he actually wants to try to push over here. I don't think that you can. There's too many tricks, like you can make like lurker eggs on ramps that just stop the army, like let part of it in, then run up and make a lurker egg. You know, things like that I've seen at the pro level occasionally. Very hard to get over these bridges in either direction. Now, a little Hydraless counterattack comes up, gets rid of a photon cannon, so that's kind of nice. Going to go after a few more. Of course, everything here is going to be killed off for StRyKeR. None of that's going to make it out alive. And he's like feigning attacks right now. Like he sacks a handful of Hydras there, gets rid of 2 cannons. Okay. Coming up with this group can't do anything. Coming up with this group, well, it has some lurkers in it, so if there's no detection, okay, but there are 2 observers. And I mean, this army for Boa looks way too strong. I don't think StRyKeR can do too much here. Backs up. And yeah, he should be able to kill this base. It feels like right now Boa is playing a bit better. He has his 3rd Nexus up, needs to get the probes. Okay, he has transferred probes over there. Kills off that 4th. It's not the end of the world for StRyKeR yet, but is starting to look pretty good here for Boa. He is controlling the center of the map very, very well right now. 3rd gas coming. So he does have those 8 gates finally that we really want to see. He has 1/1, probably +2 armor on the way. Very trendy. A lot more Hydras coming in. Now, this is a big arc of Hydra Lurker, and this is only Dragoons. You need other units in there. So StRyKeR actually has what he needs to kill off these Dragoons, and Boa is not pulling back. This is one thing you have to remember about Dragoons. They're unbelievable as far as support in PvZ, but if you don't have any storms or any zealots, they lose to everything except for drones. So Boa there losing a lot of his Dragoons, just did not have the support. And now suddenly StRyKeR is getting that containment up that he wanted, plowing through all the Dragoons. I mean, we have units rallying out that he can try to fight with. He does have a Psy Storm there, so that's nice. He does have Kadarian Amulet, so he gets those storms really, really quickly. But yeah, this is starting to look very, very StRyKeR favored. A good back and forth game here so far, but I think StRyKeR basically just won the game with that. The Dragoons sitting in the middle, definitely a mistake. Should have pulled back, should have reinforced. If he's sitting over the bridge, you can't go. And then he can reinforce with Zealots, with High Templars, right? If he wants to go into anything else at that point, you can. But, you know, when you lose your entire group of Dragoons, that's a unit you can't lose everything of for Protoss. You lose them all in PvP, you're screwed. You lose them all in PvT, you're screwed. You lose them all in PvZ, you're screwed. It's really hard to remake those Dragoons. They take a long time. You need a certain amount of them to actually have any efficacy against anything, and they need the support units as well. So it's not quite like losing all your siege tanks, but something in that range, right? So comes out, trying to pick off some of these lurkers, but it does look like StRyKER's team should be able to take this down. I think this is going to be the last attempted bust, because it's not going to work, so Boa won't be trying to make another army after this. Comes in, look at that, tries to get rid of the Overlord so his Observer can't be sniped. Maybe he has some DTs that we're making that he was thinking about, but that's not going to end up working either. And now StRyKER just going in for the kill. So yeah, this is going to be the GG. The few last remaining Protoss warriors come down. And GG. All right. So StRyKeR's team going to go ahead and take that down.